Hi, my name is David P. Shapiro. I am a DUI attorney in San Diego. I am also the owner and managing partner of the law office of David P. Shapiro based out of San Diego, California. My firm helps good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. In April of 2004, I myself was arrested for a DUI. I was in law school at the time, and I did not know how that arrest was going to affect my future. I didn't know if I was going to get kicked out of school. I didn't know if I was going to go to jail or go back to jail after spending, 20 some odd hours in jail. I didn't know if this was going to destroy my future goals of becoming an attorney. Obviously, it did not. But I was in that environment as a law student with a family experience in criminal law, and I had all those questions. So to a large degree, I could relate to most, if not everyone, who is charged with a DUI, particularly a first-time DUI. And that's what drives our firm each and every day, to make sure that we take care of everybody charged with a crime, whether it's a DUI, whether it's murder, whether it's somewhere in between. But as far as DUIs go, DUIs can range in California, particularly in San Diego, from a first-time misdemeanor DUI all the way to second-degree murder. Now, wait a minute. How am I going to be charged with second-degree murder if it's a DUI? Well, if you have a prior DUI, or if you've undergone some counseling or some DUI classes, and then get involved in an accident and you're found to be at or above the legal limit of intoxication, then you have a problem and someone dies, because then you have a problem because you're going to be charged with second-degree murder, or at least could be under the Watson murder rule. So then you're looking at 15 years to life in state prison if you are ultimately convicted. Now, on the flip side, first-time DUI is a maximum of 6 months in jail, as long as no one is hurt. The likelihood of doing actual jail time on a first-time DUI is not very great unless you have a bad prior criminal history, or the facts of this case are extremely bad for you. But generally, when we're dealing with a DUI, you look at a couple of things. You look at what was the basis for the stop or the encounter with law enforcement. Is there something we could do to try and get everything after that point suppressed or kept out of evidence? Then we look at, well, how long were you detained? Was it an unduly prolonged detention? Meaning, did they keep you on the side of the road longer than was necessary? Then we look at, well, what's the basis why you were arrested? Was there enough evidence at that point that the officer had to arrest you? And then ultimately we analyze it from, well, what can the prosecution prove if the case were to proceed to trial? Can they prove that you were either 0.08 or higher at the time driving, 0.08 or higher blood alcohol content at the time driving, not at the time of the test, at the time driving? Or can they prove that at the time driving you are under the influence for purposes of driving a motor vehicle? So we look at all of those things, and we avail ourselves of all of those resources. If you're willing to invest in your defense further, we could get a toxicologist on board to consult with. We could hire an investigator if there's people that were in the vehicle with you that may have a statement that may contradict totally what law enforcement says. There's body-worn camera evidence now. There's dashboard camera evidence now. There's all these things that we didn't have a couple of years ago that we could have that may very well help facilitate either a better resolution of your case, if that's in your best interest, if that's your goals, to keep your job, to keep your freedom, to keep your money, to keep all those things. Or if it's on the back end, if we want to take this case all the way to trial. So make sure, even if it's not with my firm, that the law firm that you decide to interview with and ultimately decide to hire has that background, experience in DUIs, from first-time DUIs all the way to second-degree murders. It is essential that the law firm that you hire and that you're investing in your future, that these people know what they're doing. And they've done it before, and they will continue to represent individuals charged with DUIs in San Diego at a high level. We believe, and I know that my firm is one of those firms. So we would encourage you to give us a call if you or a loved one are charged with or under investigation for any DUI crime in San Diego, 619-295-3555.